Hi everyone, my name's Lauren and this is my first video. So I wanted to start a YouTube channel to show everyone out there my absolute love and passion of pour painting. So a little bit about me. I'm 23, I live in Cornwall in England, and I started my pour painting business only about 4 months ago. So you're at the very beginning with me. We can follow this journey together now. My business is called Paintings by Lauren. I will link below my Instagram, my TikTok, my Etsy. So if you could go over, give those a little look, check them out, give a follow. That would be absolutely incredible. That would mean a lot. And you do get regular appearances from my dog Willow on my Instagram. So it is worth just following just for her, and you will see why when you go over. Just trust me, please. So on this channel, I'm wanting to show you the basics. We're going to be going through different techniques. I'll be going through the do's and don'ts, which I've had a lot of don'ts, so we'll go through them all, I promise. I want to get some of you to have a go and just experiment, have fun with the colours, have fun. This could be for any age group, this could be for anyone. Pour painting is great for families. It is messy, it's extremely messy. My walls, my carpet, every single part of this room will tell you it is very messy. But that's part of the fun. We will be going through everything from the basics. We will be going right up through all the way to even stuff that I'm still finding tricky. Like, there's things I have not mastered, and I think I could have this business for another 10 years and there will still be things that I have not mastered yet. So a little bit about my business. Like I said, I only started it up 4 months ago. So we're at the very beginning. I've absolutely loved every single moment so far. I just stumbled across pour painting. Just by chance, I was scrolling through Instagram, as we do, and I thought, oh, that looks really cool. I'll give that a go. Looked up some tutorials on YouTube and I just fell in love with it. So this YouTube page, summed up, is going to be mainly about pour paintings, but I will be chucking in little pieces about lifestyle, a bit more about me, and just general chit chat. If you want me to do a video on anything in particular, if you are struggling with anything or you just want advice, I will give the best I can. So comment below what kind of things you want me to do. Like I say, primarily this is going to be a pour painting channel, but we'll chuck in little bits and pieces every now and again about daily life. I thought for the first video, first of many there is going to be on this channel, we are going to look at the technique that I love to use the most. So this technique we're going to do today is what I've used for pieces like this. And pieces like this. Which I just absolutely love. So for my pour paintings, I get inspiration from everywhere and anywhere. From places I've been, especially down here in Cornwall, we have the most beautiful coastlines. So pieces, especially like this one, I made after coming back from a seaside, and even just like the shells, the colours of the ocean really inspired me for this piece, as you can see. This piece here is my Pride inspired one. And it is one of my favourite pieces. I just absolutely love that one. So I get it from absolutely anywhere. It could be people, news articles, places I've been, just anything I see. Inspiration can come from anywhere. So going to the piece that we're making today, it is my favourite technique. We're going to talk you through it step by step, even from coating the canvas all the way up to the finished product. We're going to go on this journey now. In the future, I will be doing a lot of videos on how to get your paints correct, what mixtures to use. I'll try and talk you through a little bit of it today, but I want to go more in depth at some point with it. So that's my introduction done. And hopefully you feel like you know me a little bit better now and we can get straight into the painting. Let's go. So for today's painting, we are going to be using a 50 by 50 box canvas. So you can see a little bit thicker than some canvases and like your stretch canvas. So that is about 4 centimeters. So pretty much all of my canvases I get from Hobbycraft. Never really had an issue with them. They are absolutely brilliant. They work really well for pour painting. They do come pre-primed, but I find for pour painting you just want that couple extra layers to make it go beautifully flat. So we're going to give this 2 layers of gesso now. So everything I use today I will link down below. This is my gesso that I use. It's from Boldmere. You'll see that one. I have also used one from a company called Cass Art, and it is exactly the same. It's absolutely brilliant. So both of these work amazing. Any just normal gesso that you find, 2 layers on top. I'll show you how to do that now. Okay, so we've just gone ahead and put some black bags down because, like I said, this is incredibly messy. I know me, and I know even though I have this protection down, it will still be everywhere by the end. All I have now is, I like to use my 2-inch brush and just a bowl of water, and we have a towel here on the side as well. All we're going to do, dip our brush in the water, just dab it off slightly just to get rid of some of that excess. Then we're going to go in to the gesso, like that, and just brush over so it's nice and even. Now, when I started gessoing, I did here put the gesso on, leave it an hour to dry, put gesso on, leave it an hour. So I was there waiting 2 hours, but no, we're going to use a hairdryer because that works absolutely fine. Hairdryer will dry it within a minute, if that. Yeah, about a minute. You want your brush to be a little bit wet so the gesso does spread a lot easier. I do find this brand that I have here is a little bit thicker than the Cass Art one. The Cass Art spreads just that little bit easier. Just add a little bit more now, just to the sides. Get them all coated so the paint runs over them nice and smoothly. Okay, so just make sure all those sides don't have any bumps on them. Where the paint has run over too thick, make sure it's all nice and thin, like it is there. So I would say the thickness you want. So if you were to press your finger against it, can you see it's, that's better. So it's not too thick. You can still kind of see your fingerprint through it. That's sort of the thickness you want. So it doesn't, one, so it's not too thin and doesn't go on smoothly when you put your paint on, and 2, if it's too thick, it might not dry that nice. So we're going to dry it now. We've got our hairdryer, so let's dry it. So I like to use the hairdryer on its hottest, dries it a lot faster. If you do find, because sometimes as you start to use the hairdryer, the paint can move and bunch up, just go around with your fingers on the edges like this, and it will take off any excess and just make it go lovely and smooth. So if you see, taking off all the excess. Exactly same process as we just done, do it all again. So our canvas is completely gessoed now, it's all dried. So our next step now is mixing the paint. What you will need for mixing up your paints is a scale. You see mine is well loved and well used. You'll need plastic cups. I've had these since I began my business, and you just rewash them, they're brilliant. Very inexpensive as well. These were just from Amazon. I think they're about a couple quid for about 100 of them, so they've lasted me very, very well. You need PVA glue. White or clear, it doesn't matter, any one you want. I've got the Craft Planet one here. This was from Amazon. I get this one as well. This is the Craft Place one. It's 1 litre. This is normally, can be between £3 to £4. Same as this one. This was about £3. It is the thing you use most of, so it can run out quite quickly, but it's so inexpensive. I would say buy in bulk for these. I've got loads. like I say, clear or white, doesn't matter, both work absolutely identical. Now, the thing that can be quite expensive with this is your pouring medium. So I do get the slightly more expensive one, which is your Liquitex. This is only 946 mils and it's 25 quid. So it can be quite expensive. This is the gloss one as well because I like it to have a little bit of a shine. I was using this by itself for pouring medium, but for my pour paints, but I did find it was just getting a bit too expensive. So that's why I mix it now with the PVA glue here, so that it's more cost effective and it gives me exactly the same results. So Liquitex I would really recommend. Again, I will link all of these down below. Liquitex has given me the best results. I do have another one. I was also using this one from Amazon, which for 500 mils was £10. So I mean, kind of similar, a little bit less expensive, but I do find for me personally, I get a better result with the Liquitex one. So if you are doing this for your business or professionally, I would say Liquitex. If you're just doing it for fun with your kids, these are absolutely fine as well. Or even you could just use the PVA glue, but you won't get as good of a result. But it's completely, whatever level you're at, whatever you're using it for, you decide. So at some point I will do a full video of all of these, best ones to get, what I like, what I don't like about them, but that'll come up in the future. Next thing you need is your paints. So I go between these two brands. I find them, they both work absolutely brilliant, but these are a little bit more expensive and I just love them. I love the Arteza ones. Both brands absolutely incredible. They work great, but if you just want to give it that little bit more of a zhuzh, Arteza ones are the way to go. So we're going to be starting with a black base, which I'm going to be mixing up now, and then we're going to be adding rainbow colours to this piece. So let's start mixing them up. For my size canvas, I'm going to need quite a lot of paint. So we're going to start off with 50 grams of the paint itself. Put that there. There we go. We're going to be wanting, so what I like to do for this specific technique, we like to have the paints a slight bit thinner than you would a normal pour painting, but I mean very slight. Again, in the future there'll be videos on the different consistencies of the paints, so I will be making that very soon. So, but for today's, we're going to make it slightly thinner by diluting it with a little bit more water than normal. So for this specific type of painting, we're going to do 50 grams black paint. We're going to do 25 grams pouring medium, which will take me up to 75 grams. There we go. And then we will do 25 grams of PVA glue. Get that up to 100. There we go. So I like to add my water just little bit by little bit, because if you go in adding too much water, it makes it far too watery. It's a lot harder getting that balance between your pouring medium, PVA glue and your paint and getting that balance nice again. So it's better adding little bit by little bit and working that in. So you can see, just mixing that up. It's better to mix your paint a little bit slower because you won't get as many air bubbles in. But if you do, it doesn't matter. You can always get those out with a blowtorch later, or they don't really affect your painting too much if you're just doing it, like say with the kids, just normally, and it doesn't affect it too much. Right, so you can see how thick that is. We're going to need a little bit more water and mix again. So now we've mixed it, you can see as I lift and pull that in, see it leaves almost a ribbon in it. Do that again. See that? Oh. That's the consistency we're wanting. So it's just running off, leaving that nice ribbon. So the last thing we're going to do with this one is just add 1 drop of silicone oil. You can't see the brand on that. I know I got that one from Hobbycraft as well. Hobbycraft do their own silicone oil, or you can just get them off Amazon, but all you need is just that single drop. That's as strong as it works. Just one drop in each paint pot that we do. Just mix that in. And we're going to do a second black pot, exactly the same as we just done the first one. So I'll speed you through that one. Now we're going to go in with the colours. So let's work our way around the rainbow, and we're going to start with a nice red. Now you can see on the bottom of some of these paints, one says transparent, another says opaque, and you do have ones like your fluorescent as well. Every single one will mix differently with the levels that you put in. So you, especially with the water mainly, so do the exactly the same levels with your Liquitex and your PVA for every single colour, but just be so careful with your water. That's what I'm saying, little bit by little bit at a time. So your transparent ones will need a lot less water than your opaque ones. So just keep an eye on that as you're working as well. On very, very rare occasions, I do have a couple paints. I think this one does it. It's only a couple of blues I found. They do not like the PVA glue. So they go extremely gloopy. So if you find your paint does that, which I'm hoping in some ways this one does, so I can show you what to do. If you do find that, just mix it with a little bit more water. If that's not working, unfortunately you do have to ditch it, start it again, but just use water and pour a medium, but you won't need as much water. Definitely with that, you will get a lot less. So just be careful as you're mixing. If you're seeing things are happening and it's going a bit gloopy, more water. If not, just start again. I've lost a lot of paint through that way, so good tip. Just keep an eye on it. Like I say, I've only found it with the blues, so not all of them, just a couple of the darker colours, so keep an eye out for that. So we're going to start off with our red. Do exactly the same with your amounts, but we don't need as much red as we needed black. So all I'm going to do is 20 grams of red. There we go, 20 grams. And then we're going to do, again, as we've done with the black, half and half. So 10 Liquitex, 10 PVA glue. There we go. Again, add in your one single drop of silicone oil. And 2 may have gone in, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. So if you're doing, let's say you're doing 30 grams, you would do 15 of Liquitex, 15 of PVA. So that's the way you work it. Always make up, so it'd be 1 part paint, half part Liquitex, half a part PVA glue. So again, one last example. If you're doing 40 grams, do 20 of one, 20 of the other. Simple as that. Again, there may be circumstances, which I will show in videos coming up, that you may need a little bit more of one, a little bit less of one, but for this technique we're doing today, that's the rule. But we will discuss all that in future videos as well. So again, a little bit of water. Make sure your little stir and stick is clean, else the colours will mix. I just use this plastic one that I got from Hobbycraft, but you can use absolutely anything. The next one is orange. Now this is one of our fluorescent ones. Again, fluorescent colours can go a little bit weird with the pouring medium and the PVA glue. It sometimes can go it can break up into little bits sometimes. The orange doesn't seem to be too bad, but I have had the yellow and sometimes the pink can do it as well. But all you would do is just keep on mixing. It will get there eventually. Just keep mixing. Just takes a little bit more elbow grease. There we go. So remember, 20 colour, 10 and 10 of the other, 1 drop of silicone oil, and let's mix. Okay, so I carried on and mixed the rest of the colours, so these are all the ones we'll be using today. We start off with the black base and then we add these in. So this is what we use for this technique. It's just simply a cup and we've just cut the end off there to make this little pot here. So we're going to start by just adding the black in a big pool just in the middle here, okay? There we go, that's our first pot done. And then we want to go in with the second pot just around to make that nice. Just make that nice and big there. There we go, perfect. And if you want, you can just scrape out the bit there just to get a little bit more out, but I think that'll be enough for us today. Then this here simply goes straight in the middle. Now this is when the magic happens. We start off, we're going to go down the colour of the rainbow. So start off with red, just pour a little bit in there so it fills the bottom. Then we go to orange. And you'll start to see a couple things appear around here soon when we get the other colours in. And we go to our yellow. So the silicone oil in it just brings the colours up through. Then we go to our green. You might not be able to see it on the camera, but it's starting now. Oh, no, I want the pale blue first. A nice aqua colour. And dark blue. Mix the dark blue and it came out fine, but in another video I will show you when it goes really gloopy how to fix that as well. And then finish with the pink. So now, maybe I'll start to see a couple colours coming out through here, but what we're going to do is we're going to lift a little bit, just let that colour out and start to move it around. What we're going to do is inch it around so it makes a nice spiral. Then we add in our colours again. And even if you want, just do a couple colours at a time and then move it. You can see the colour coming through here now. And move that around a bit more. So we'll start with a fresh one there and we go in with the purple. So it really does depend on how big your splodges are. If you do quite a large section there like that, self-explanatory, you're going to see a bigger section of pink there. So if you do little tiny ones, you're going to get a lot more colour in a smaller section. That a bit more. Again, you can just lift it for a little bit just to let those colours out. So on this channel, we might do ones that are absolute fails, we might do ones that look beautiful, we might do little middle ones that are neither here nor there, but we're going to go through them all. We're going to be here for the highs and the lows of my paintings. That's what art's all about. It's really fun just to experiment, just to see what comes out. Just lift that a bit more. Twist it a little bit so you get that nice pattern. I love to do that. And you could do this with whatever colours you like. If you've only got a couple, just use a couple and just do bigger quantities of them so you've got enough paint to cover. There is an absolutely incredible YouTube channel called Left Brained Artist, and he really goes into the science of pour painting as well, so I would highly recommend looking at his channel if you want to go further into the science of it as well. Really helped me understand the paints. So we'll probably get to that in my channel as well at some point. Now, I'm going to get the one thing in a sec which I haven't discussed, which if you've got little kids, you can either do it yourself or miss this point completely. It's up to you, but I will show you. You can use at the very end a blowtorch just to bring out some more of those cells. Does work really well for getting the paintings nice and flat as well. So if you are doing this for your business, I would recommend getting a blowtorch. But like I say, if it's just for your kids, just having a little mess around, a little go, probably safer just miss that bit out. But I will talk you through that as well. Don't worry if little splodges come out the side, it all adds to it, it's all fun. Nice bright piece. There we go. So let's move this in so we don't have just a splodge of colour. Just work it out to the edge if you like. There we go. Right, so now we have this beautiful piece here, and what we're going to do is tilt. So we've got this corner back in, this corner back in, this corner back in, this corner back in, okay? So this is really good to do because you'll want to, see how beautiful that bubble popped as well, it just gives us a nice little bit of black there. You're not going to want too much paint on your canvas, else you can get cracking. And again, another thing I will completely discuss in upcoming videos, but for now I'll show you how we tilt. Don't worry about the edges because we can go back to those and fill them in after. See what I said when I said it was messy? I did not lie. So you can see that there. So you can see the paint is nearly barely moving by the end, which is good. That means it won't be too thick, so it shouldn't crack as it's drying. There we go. Beautiful piece, gorgeous colours. And all we do to the edges, you can just use your fingers. Fun bit for the kids to do, scoop out the paint and splodge it on the corners. So it's a rainbow effect, so you know no one's really gonna notice if the colours are slightly different towards the corners. So what we do, we just scoop the paint out there and just place it around the corner, just to cover in white pieces. So lastly, we're going to go over with our blowtorch. Again, this was just on Amazon. I don't want to do it too much to this piece because I love how it is at the moment. But if you can go really close with it, be careful not to go on one section too long because it can burn. But I just want to do a quick bit over just to get rid of these bubbles that we've got so it will lay a little bit flatter. But this will bring out lots of cells, so it can change the whole look of your painting. That's why I don't want to change this too much. I'm just going to go over it just to get rid of those bubbles. You can see things starting to open here as well. Just beautiful, but again, I don't want it too much on this piece because I love how it is at the moment. So there we go. There is our finished pour painting. A little bit messy, but we don't mind. So that is my favourite technique in pour painting. I have loads, we've got so much more to go through. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel, that would mean the world to me. Let's get this up and running, let's have a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching, it means a lot. So thank you.